Why is it so hot today?
I know, right? It's scorching hot outside. It's literally 100 degrees.
You are right. The weather makes me so hungry and thirsty.
So, should we go grab something to eat?
Sure. I'm craving for donuts.
Wow, that's a nice idea.
Let's go. Oh no, the store is closed today.
What should we do? I have an idea. How about making ourselves?
But I don't know how to make one.
Don't worry, my friend. We can make it for you. Plus, it's a great way to learn science.
But what do you mean by that?
I mean, do you know that there's a lot of science that goes into making donuts? It is called fermentation.
I see.
So, what's the science behind donuts? There's a lot of science that goes into making donuts. Like, did you know that our donuts are soft and yummy thanks to a microscopic living thing? It's called yeast and it's part of a special group of living things we call fungi. A single yeast is so small that we would need a microscope to see it. But even though they are small, they are also mighty, because they are what turns these ingredients into yummy donuts. Today, we are going to look at anaerobic respiration by yeast and how it can be harnessed to produce food. Like all living things, yeast also respires. Yeast can respire anaerobically. Another word for this is fermentation. When yeast respires anaerobically, this is what happens. The yeast uses glucose as a fuel to produce carbon dioxide, ethanol or alcohol, and energy. The energy that is produced by fermentation is useful to the yeast, as the yeast then uses this for metabolic processes such as growth. However, the carbon dioxide and ethanol are waste products for the yeast but useful products for humans. One way humans use the fact that yeast fermentation produces carbon dioxide is in bread or donut making. Yeast is mixed with flour, sugar, salt, and water to make dough. The yeast then respires anaerobically, producing carbon dioxide. Bubbles of carbon dioxide are trapped in the dough of donuts. This makes the dough rise, resulting in a lovely, soft, and bouncy donuts. What's the purpose of adding sugar and water to the yeast? At first, the yeast are not very active. It's kind of like they are asleep. But when they get mixed with the warm water, they wake up. And they wake up hungry, so they start munching on the sugar we added to the water. This is because sugar is the fuel for respiration. But it's what comes after they eat that's important. You know how, after you eat, you sometimes have to burp or fart? That's because your body makes gases. and when we pass gas or burp, our bodies are getting rid of extra gases that are trapped inside us. Well, these yeasts make gases too, which is carbon dioxide. So you could say they fart a lot. That is why after a while, our sweet yeast water has bubbles in it. What makes the dough rise? When we add the yeast water into the flour, the yeast will keep eating and they will keep making gas. The yeast consumes the sugar present in the dough and burps out carbon dioxide gas and ethanol. This gas gets trapped inside the bread dough due to the presence of gluten in it, thus making the dough rise. The more gas that forms in the dough, the higher the dough will rise and thus, the fluffier our donuts will be. Why let the dough rest? It is important to make sure our dough is all ready to go before frying. In fact, those yeasts are still eating and farting right now. And the more time we give them to do that, the more bubbles they will make and the fluffier our donuts will be. Respiring yeast produces alcohol, so why don't people get drunk when they eat the donuts? When the donuts are fried, the yeast is killed and the ethanol evaporates. Can evaporating ethanol help you think of another use for yeast? Well, yeast is also used in the production of beers and wines, and this time, the useful waste material is ethanol. Fermentation is amazing, isn't it?
Aila, have you finished the biology homework?
A bit more left.
Okay.
Hey guys!
Hi.
What are you guys talking about?
Nothing. We were talking about biology homework.
I've got something for you.
What is this?
It's donut that you have been craving for.
Wow, thank you.
You're so great.
That's it.
That's it! Yay! That's all from us.
Thanks for watching.
Bye!